Hello and welcome to Whatever's on the Mind.
Where we tell you what's on ours. Welcome to episode 7!
Woo!
I have a lot of energy now.
7's my lucky number.
Is it?
Yes.
My lucky number is 12.
Why 12?
Because that's the month I was born, and I also just like the number.
Oh, and Tom Brady, right?
No. 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 I don't know. I don't follow sports that much.
I follow everything so much.
Yeah, okay.
I'm Travis.
I'm Jesse.
And we're back.
This is the intro.
This is it.
What do we want to talk about today? It's been a few weeks since we've recorded, since episode 6.
Yeah, we recorded a few weeks in advance.
Yeah, we did a double batch with 5 and 6. So now this is like 2 weeks later, I think.
Yeah.
July 29th.
3 days after my birthday.
I didn't start the stopwatch, but that's okay because OBS has a little recording timer. So it's basically been a minute.
Hello, minute.
A hot minute.
Hot minute. It's going to be hot because, once again, we record in a hot room, and I will plug that every single episode.
Every time until it's not hot. I did have the AC on as usual, and then it's off. You know, it's off for you guys, not us. Not us. Because it'll do a constant hum in the background. But anyway.
It was up to us. We would be cool, and you guys would be ear-tortured.
Sure.
Is that a word? I don't think.
It's better than the alternative.
What's the alternative?
No, it's a bad word. No. Anyway, today, I mean, I've been thinking about it for a while, but I want to talk about, like, energy, and more so, like, not energy as in, like, your aura, more like energy as in, like, tired and I actually have energy to do things, and how one might moderate that. How do you gauge,
kind of like motivation?
That? Motivation, yeah, motivation, and also, like, how do I put it? It's kind of like, how do you, like, wake up every day and just kind of like I guess it is motivation. Make yourself not tired. Not like dependent on caffeine or something, or like.
Yeah.
How do you rest when you can if you're like super busy and stuff?
Okay, I got you.
That's on my mind today.
Mentally prepared for this topic.
Yeah.
Starting now.
Awesome.
So let's talk about it. So
take it away.
Jesse.
That's my name.
How do you like prepare for you're waking up, okay. From this beautiful darkness. Beautiful darkness. That's pretty. And your eyes awaken, and they're crusty, and your body aches, and you're tired, and you're sore, and everything actually sucks because you're waking up.
Yeah.
So how do you get out of bed? What do you do, man?
So my day-to-day, just regular. Yeah. I don't get crusty eyes, but...
Oh, lame.
Do you get crusty eyes?
I do.
Oh, you got watery eyes.
Those little eye booger things, you know. And
I don't really get them super often.
I
only get them if it's like, I don't know. Like hydrated.
If you're
if the room is hydrated,
if it's humid, like
something like that.
Okay, fair.
And your water ducts are just like going crazy when you sleep
because you cried yourself to sleep.
that is one of them. But so my day to day for right now, usually is the same no matter what I'm doing. But I'll wake up. I'll pretty much take a shower pretty much as soon as I wake up. Usually if I have like something to do that day. So for right now, like I just wake up, I go to the gym, I come back, I rest for a little bit, and then I work a little bit for my mom, and then I just rest again. That's a pretty easy day for summer. But anyway. So I wake up, I take a shower, I get changed. For gym, I have a pre-workout shake and a protein bar, and then I'll just go to the gym. I'll come back. I'll have another pre-workout if I feel like I'm really, really tired because it has a little bit of caffeine in it.
Right.
And then I'll have something to eat. So yeah, just kind of like showers really help. Like hot shower, cold shower, whatever. Well, yeah, hot shower does wake you up, but it's not really great for your skin.
Oh, really?
Yeah, well, because it opens up all your pores and stuff.
Oh, that's a good point.
If you have a really hot shower, it's good to end it on like a cold, like just do like a cold.
Does it like close those pores?
Yeah. Do like a cold snap for like a few seconds. Just to close your pores and stuff. Yeah, cool. Like shower, caffeine, actually doing something.
It seems very routined. Like you
it is
seem
now.
Like
I've been doing this for like 5 weeks for this gym arc.
So do you wake up the same time every morning or okay
for gym.
Do you have to force yourself awake with like an alarm or something? Or is it just kind of like
definitely an alarm.
Yeah.
I usually set 2. I'll set one at 11. For initial wake up, and if I'm really tired, I'll go back to sleep for like another half hour, and then I'll wake up again and like actually go do it. I wake up at 11 o'clock, or my alarm's at 11 and 11:35. Nice. Yeah,
Sounds so nice.
I get to sleep in a lot. Like,
jeez.
Yeah. That's gonna be a bit different from school. I think I'll have to wake up at like 9 or 10 or something, which is still late for you.
Now, is your schedule kind of like you're talking about this like routine you have throughout the morning to wake yourself up and like just having this day ahead that you know is coming up, so you wake up for it. Is that similar when you're in school and like it just changes based on hours? Or something?
It does entirely. Yeah, you're right on the nail or right on the head. Because for school, I mean, you have scheduled classes.
Right.
So what I did last semester when I was still going to the gym and doing classes was like pretty much the same routine. I would wake up, shower. I would probably try to eat breakfast before caffeine. What I'm doing right now is like I'll have caffeine with my breakfast as one does with coffee or something. But then I do all my classes. I would go to the gym, go to work, and then homework, or if I needed to do homework, or just like sleep or game or whatever for school. And that's what it's probably going to be like this time around as well. But most of my classes are online, so it's going to be a bit easier for like sleeping and scheduling and stuff.
So let me ask you this really quick. Like I know, you know, you have that
coffee.
Well, I was actually just about to ask about that. So
you did get coffees for us.
I did out of the generosity.
I need to pay you back for that too.
Don't pay me back.
No.
No. Anyways, it's a $3 coffee. I don't need.
Oh, is it $3? I thought it was $5.
No, it's like $4. But don't feel bad. Anyway, so like. You have some people who wake up in the morning and it's like, oh, I can't function without my coffee, or you know what I mean?
That's
like,
an addiction at that point. You're addicted to coffee.
But are you one of those people that like are dependent on caffeine to like get through the day, or is it just kind of like an assistance to you, or what is it?
I've actually thought about that a lot because I don't want to get addicted to anything in my life. I do want to note, if you do have a caffeine addiction, don't fret. It doesn't chemically unbalance your brain in any way.
Okay.
But so, like, you can have a lot of caffeine, but if you go cold turkey after having, like, a lot, you'll get withdrawals. You will get withdrawal symptoms.
No kidding.
You'll get headaches, maybe migraine, a lot of fatigue.
Wow.
It varies.
It's a lot like cigarettes.
It depends on,
it
depends on your body and stuff, but it doesn't chemically unbalance your brain like maybe like medication would or something.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
So anyway, is it an assistance? Is it a dependency for me? It's an assistance. I was going to say an assistance. I can definitely go days without caffeine.
Yeah.
For the gym, I just need something that gets me going like instantly. And because I wake up and I immediately shower, change, breakfast, gym. Like I don't shower. Okay, let's do this.
You don't lay back and relax and unwind.
No, I relax while eating breakfast. Like I'll watch YouTube while eating breakfast and drinking my caffeine, and then I'm like go for like 2 hours.
Nice, yeah.
And then I'm usually like very tired at that point.
Yeah.
So I'll have a little bit more caffeine. And for like the milligrams specifically, I always try to go under 200.
Oh wow.
I think I've looked it up a couple times. It varies because it's dependent on your body, but like having 300 mg a day is pretty much going to get you an addiction eventually.
No kidding.
And in some shape or form, you're going to be like, maybe you'll just have extra fatigue one day without, having it. I generally go around 110 to 165 area for mg.
That's really funny to me because I've always like, I have like when extreme dieting in the past and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. I've counted calories and like grams of sugars and stuff like that, but never did I really focus on caffeine. I don't know why, but
it's not really like. It's more so if you're just worried about getting addicted to it, you don't want any of the withdrawal symptoms.
Yeah.
I drink caffeine pretty much every day, but it's not in like really high doses.
Right. Like, so it's not like a coffee every day or a big coffee.
It's not like like a triple
espresso,
triple shot espresso like 300 mg.
Right.
And like 2 of those. No. It's pretty tame. And I do end up like using that energy, if that makes sense. Like I don't just drink energy drinks and then like game and that's it.
Oh yeah.
You get really tired doing that.
You exercise it off, or you kind of burn it off.
Like you burn it off in some form instead of just kind of like caffeine and then you don't really do anything.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah. So shoot that question back at you. I know you don't drink a lot of caffeine too often.
Yeah.
Assistance, dependency.
I'll answer the caffeine, and then I'll go into my kind of morning routine.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, like caffeine, I don't really pay attention to it very much, and for me, it's just kind of like it's a treat. But it's not like the caffeine itself is a treat. You know what I mean?
It's like getting like a Dunkin' coffee is that treat, and it just happens to come with caffeine.
Exactly. Yeah, it's the same thing if I drink like a ginger beer or like a ginger ale or something like that.
I love ginger beers.
There's caffeine in that, but that's not what I'm actively looking for.
Ginger ale is caffeine? And
ginger ale has
ginger beer has caffeine.
I believe so.
I mean, I guess it's like a soda.
Yeah, actually, I do know they have caffeine-free ginger.
They definitely do.
Ginger beers and ginger ales.
I want to try that bold ginger ale. Have you seen that?
No,
it's like ginger ale bold. It's just like more. It's basically ginger beer, but still like ale. I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I had
might not be in the States. I don't know.
Ginger beer the other day that was like a spicy ginger beer, and it was really good.
Really? Wait, so it's spicier than
yeah,
just a ginger beer?
You know that little tang you get after?
Yeah, because that's the ginger.
Exactly. It's like that times 5. It's aggressive, but it's really good. But yeah, like for me, like caffeine's just kind of like this little thing that comes with treats, and I mean there have been some mornings where like I'm going to work at like really early in the morning and I get a coffee, and I do that more as like a placebo. I said that really
placebo.
weird.
Yeah,
placebo.
I got you.
Then like this thought that like it's gonna help me because I've drinking energy drinks and coffees in the past when I'm tired, and I never ever get an energy boost from it.
Yeah, because it's like if you're already tired, if you're like your body wants to sleep and you have caffeine, it's not like, oh, I'm rested now. It's my heart rate is just up.
Exactly.
And now I'm just anxious and can't really focus.
So for me, it's like it's kind of a placebo in the sense that like I'm waking up to like in the morning, like if it's super early, and I'm like I'm gonna drink a coffee, but I know it's not really gonna wake me up. It's just like it's this thought of like maybe it will. It's this. I'm cognizant that it's not the caffeine doing anything, but it's that placebo
it's like
effect.
The act of drinking coffee is like that's what gets me through the day.
Yeah, exactly.
And let me ask you, not decaf, right? It is like caffeinated coffee.
Well, I drink both.
Oh, really? Okay.
I prefer caffeinated coffee.
Right.
Just I don't know what it is with decaf coffee, but there's this weird taste with it.
Yeah.
And I think it's just because there's more concentration in like the coffee bean. You know what I mean? Like I don't know what it is.
Is it like bitter? Is it more bitter?
It's not.
Or is it?
It's not the bitterness because I don't mind it. Like I drink cold brew coffees with like 1 cream, and I'm fine with that. It's just this taste. I don't know. It's kind of like when they have caffeine-free like sodas.
Yeah, and well, that's the aspartame in the sodas.
Maybe that's what it.
I don't know if I don't know if there's aspartame in decaf coffees. I've never really looked into that.
But there's something in there that doesn't taste as as good, I guess, and it's noticeable.
That is absolutely for sodas. I know that it's the aspartame in it, which is like, or maybe that's for diet. Maybe not caffeine free. That is for diet sodas actually. That's like the sugar. That's a sugar replacement. Is aspartame.
Oh, that makes sense.
I think so. Maybe not. Okay.
But I don't know. Anyways, it's just something different about it and something that I don't really prefer. But I'll drink it. Like if my fiance comes back to the house with a decaf coffee for me, I'm not gonna say no to it. You know,
right?
That rarely ever happens because she knows I like caffeinated coffee. But like if she doesn't want to finish her coffee or something, and she's like, "Here, Travis, have the rest of mine." I'm like, I'm not gonna say no. It's coffee, you know.
Right.
I don't drink it for
Coffee's
the caffeine.
Good.
Yeah, coffee is very good.
Let's digress into your routine too. Yeah. Just so we don't get off track.
For me, I think the thing that really helps me is like if I have something to do that day, like a task, that's what helps me really wake up. Because I usually like to wake up about an hour and a half before I have something to get done.
Yeah.
And I'll go into more detail about my sleep schedule and stuff like that. But like if I have something to do at like tomorrow morning, for instance, I have to wake up and be out the door by 6:30 the latest.
Yeah.
So like 6:15. So I'll probably wake up around 5:15.
That's what I do too.
In order to kind of wake up and brush my teeth, and I don't take showers in the morning. I take them at night.
Oh, okay.
Because I don't like.
Opposite.
See, I don't like going to bed all dirty and yucky. I mean, obviously, I know like you probably don't go to bed covered in sweat.
No.
You know what I mean? Like if you had worked out or something, you'd shower. But for me, I like to wash off all the grime from the day, and it's almost kind of like kind of therapeutic to take I take like warm showers to cold showers.
Yeah.
But just kind of like right before going to bed, like cool down and just unwind and relax. Yeah. But I usually, I'll wake up an hour before at least, depending on how early it is. If I have something at like 9:30 I have to do, I'll wake up at 8. But like when I have something at like 6 o'clock or 6:30 that I have to leave the door for, I don't like waking up much earlier than like 5:15.
Yeah.
5:15 is like the earliest I'll get up, really.
Really?
Unless I'm forced to stay up for something else or like go to bed earlier.
Right.
Like if I had a shift at like 1 a.m. or something like that.
Yeah,
I've done that before. My sleep schedule's been all over the place. I used to work in an industrial paper mill, the one right in town.
Yeah, in our town.
And I used to have to get up at 3:15 in the morning to be there for like 4.
When I worked at Wally World, my shift started at 4 a.m. So I'd have to wake up at like 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, and it sucked.
I think for those, I took showers at night.
Yeah.
Eventually, I started taking showers in the morning for those, and then I was like, this is too much work.
See, I worked 12-hour plus shifts, so I always worked my shift, went home, showered, ate, and then slept.
Yeah.
But my routine now really, I wake up, I brush my teeth, I kind of get dressed, and then I usually like to just take some time in the morning to just kind of like lay down and like scroll through my phone or like do something that's like not related to the task I have to get done.
It kind of gets your bearings first.
Exactly. It wakes me up. It makes me more aware and stuff like that. But yeah, so when I have a task, I'll wake up for that time. But if I have nothing to do for the day and I won't, you know, like say I have something at like 12 o'clock or 1, the latest I can ever really sleep in is like 9:30.
Really? And that's still early for me.
My body it wakes up regardless of how much sleep I have. Like I know this week there's been a couple times where like I fell asleep at like 1 a.m., 1:30, which is really late for me to stay up for most part because I usually go to bed around 12. But I've been staying up super late lately, and like I'll wake up in the morning at like 8:30. And I'll just feel so drained.
Really?
But it's those tasks and those things I have to get done for the day that help me kind of get up, get ready for the day, and like, force myself out of bed.
Having something to do kind of forces you to, like you just said, kind of forces you to get up.
And the other thing for me, too, is like if I don't have anything to do, like if I have a day where I have absolutely nothing scheduled, I like to give myself tasks.
Okay.
So I like to give
like chores, errands,
errands, or even just like a task. It's like for me, like having fun doing something. So yesterday I had nothing planned for the day, but I made plans with my brother to go play disc golf. Yeah. Because I said, you know, that's something I can accomplish for the day. You know, exercising is something I can get done for the day. Right. Check it off my list. Feel like I did something with my day. I can't really spend a day just sitting around doing nothing. Yeah. That's my nature.
I also have a question for that. Do you consider like playing video games doing nothing because it's a luxury?
No, I still think it's kind of because I use it as a social kind of thing.
Yeah, it definitely can.
Or self-care, one of the two. So if I'm
Animal Crossing.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So it's either I'm sitting there and I'm interacting with friends and I'm catching up and all this stuff, or I'm spending the time kind of like readjusting and redirecting myself or like comfort, winding down. Exactly. And it's really important to give yourself that comfort, because otherwise you can kind of get lost in the cycle of like constant busyness. At least someone like me,
you'll get burnt out.
Exactly. Oh yeah. And I've had times where like I have gotten really burnt out and then I just need a day to like unwind. But like I said, my unwinding is like I still give myself task of like playing a game or watching a video or something, just something that like in my head I describe it as a task and something to accomplish. That way it feels better when I do it. That way, instead of having someone make the argument of, well, you sat in front of the TV for 2 hours today or 3 hours or whatever, it's more like, no, I did self-care for 3 hours.
That's a good way. That's a really healthy way to look at it. And also,
but of course you got to limit that time. You can't indulge in it, because if you do that, then you start falling into a cycle of like once you have those tasks that you have to get done, like the work and stuff like that, you find a lot of trouble getting back into that.
And that's because of your comfort zone.
Exactly.
And the more that you indulge in your comfort zone, the smaller your comfort zone gets.
Yep.
So like if you play Animal Crossing like 12 hours a day, anything outside of Animal Crossing is going to be like
anxiety inducing.
It's going to feel like it takes a lot of effort to do. It's good to be uncomfortable. In moderation, it's good to be uncomfortable.
And that's actually something I've really focused on this summer is like taking up new things that I never would have done, and trying to explore that uncomfortableness and really kind of run with it. So as opposed to like you're saying, staying in my comfort zone and not really expanding outwards of it and being too comfortable with myself and the things I do. I've been trying to find that unfamiliar ground and
like push yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing too.
Like the food program I picked up. Like that was something I didn't.
Have we talked about that food program just off mic or off
camera?
Oh,
I think we have.
It's not keto, is it? I always think it's keto.
No, the food program, like the food distribution program, I do.
I thought you were like, I'm like on a nutrition program.
No, I wish.
Okay, for the work, right?
Yeah,
okay.
exactly.
I remember now.
Yeah, that was my pushing out and like finding something new.
Yeah.
And, trying to run with it.
Mm-hmm. And for me, getting out of my comfort zone this summer, definitely like going to the gym. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's a huge one for anybody.
By the way, you're looking great. Like I don't know if I mentioned that, but I saw you. Didn't you deadlift like 200 pounds?
I did.
Or something, dude?
I deadlifted 200 pounds yesterday.
Like Clap for Jesse. Clap for Jesse.
Thank you, man. So that's after this is my 5th week right now.
Yeah.
And I deadlifted 200. My first week, I could only well, I wouldn't say I could only, but I deadlifted like 115. Like that was the PR for that day.
Yeah.
Which is a personal record. And then just went up, and then like next week was 135, next week was 140 something, blah blah blah, and then like last week was 185.
Yeah.
And then this week was 200. So I'll definitely be doing like 225 in the next couple of weeks.
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
I think you look so much more like toned. Like,
yeah, dude.
Honestly,
it's very gratifying getting compliments.
I'd really like to see you like at the beginning of the summer versus the end.
I will be posting before and after pics once I'm done with like when we go back to school, because that'll be like the end of my training for like in town.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's gonna be like a ton of difference, but
I think
you'll be able to notice like some tonnage. Pretty much.
I already think there is. You seem to fit much better. You know what I mean, muscles.
Man? Muscle boy.
But a plug on Jesse's athleticism now, his newfound athleticism.
And speaking of comfort zone and that, I did boxing today too. First time ever doing boxing.
Yeah, you told me
just
about
like
that.
Lessons, just pretty basic practice. Me and my trainer, we're basically just doing that for like cardio. It's just because it just it is cardio endurance. But also you get to learn like how to fight. You get if somebody like picks a fight with you, you can hit them.
Like I don't know, like you can like, and I'm like, hey, just give me your money.
Give me your money. I'll be like, boom.
Like take that.
I went with the left hook. That was the boom part.
That's terminology.
Left hook, yeah.
Left hook. Boom. Now right hook.
Boom.
There it is.
Yeah. You actually have to make, when you're doing the hook, you have to make your arm completely parallel. Like
that.
No
kidding.
And you twist and you
that's cool.
Go like that.
I'm practicing with Jesse now.
Also, and you keep your thumb, you don't go like that, you keep your thumb up.
So really?
So parallel and then and you usually twist your body.
Okay.
Boxing lessons.
See, I could never hit another person, I don't feel like.
Oh, well, yeah, my trainer puts mitts on.
Oh, like, I know.
But, you mean like if somebody like, picked a fight with you.
Oh, yeah, if someone like walked up to the streets with me and was like, give me all your money, I'd probably cower in fear and be like, I don't have much as it is, but here you go.
If they don't have a weapon, I'm going to pick a fight with them,
I mean, that's
honestly.
Fair. That's fair.
But usually they would have like a knife or something.
I'm just a big baby. I don't like confrontation, so.
Yeah, well, I don't either, but like now that I've bulked up a little bit and I've been training and boxing, this is the first day boxing, so it's not like, I'm not like an experienced fighter by any means. I don't know. I like the thrill of being like, oh, I can actually like defend myself and bam.
Jesse
break my hand
one time, picks fight with Mike Tyson and wins. God.
Knocked me out in one punch. He's actually coming out of retirement for a little bit to do a match with Roy something.
Is he gonna bite his ear off too?
No, he's so far past. He hates that he did that.
I can imagine.
He's like, I was so angry as like just a boxer as an adult.
Yeah.
He really regrets being really angry.
Well, I mean, it's good to like self-reflect on that. And like
he's
admit.
Retired now and he can kind of just wind down.
Yeah, that's good.
Still got it though. You ever see videos of him boxing now? He's still a powerhouse.
I just saw a video of Mike Tyson where it showed him like a year ago, and then like how much he's toned up and like trained and like how good he looks right now.
It might be getting ready for that fight. Unless you already,
I
don't know if you already did it. It's Roy something versus Mike Tyson.
Roy Orbison.
No,
that's a joke. Roy Orbison's an artist.
Okay.
Pretty woman.
I don't remember.
No, yeah, I mean, it's important to go back and kind of admit your flaws and your mistakes and stuff, because then you can never really grow from that.
I was just about to say, that's how you grow as a person. It's always self-reflecting.
Well, and being honest, too, with your, like, current state and where you are and where you were.
That's a big thing, too.
All that.
You can't be lying to yourself.
Well, yeah, lying to yourself, lying to others.
Like, I mean... I say too much, but I meant, like, don't beat yourself up over something, or not even that. Sorry, that's the opposite. Don't try to justify everything you do by like,
Yes.
well, I'm always in the right.
Right,
So
exactly.
therefore, my actions were right.
You really aren't. I mean, that's the hard thing. Is like I've done a lot of stuff in my past that I can admit that I'm like not proud of, and I won't go into it.
Yeah, I can relate though.
But yeah, it's important. Like you have these honest conversations, and you say like, yeah, that was really terrible of me to do. But I am growing from that, and I'm continuously growing.
Unlearning bad habits and all that, and then learning kind of
exactly
more awareness, more I don't know, autonomy or something. I don't know. I don't know what the right word is, but it's pretty much just self-awareness. It's a hard thing to like try to correct something you've been doing for like years and years and years.
Well, and the hardest part is admitting that A, you were wrong, and A, you may still be wrong.
Yeah.
You know, because I feel like it's really easy, at least from my perspective, to kind of look back at my past and be like, that was wrong what I did. Right. But I still have a lot of trouble, and something I'm constantly working on and trying to get better at. But I still have trouble with saying I still do things problematically in this sense today.
Right. I would say same. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just kind of elaborating on it, just saying like, you know, I grow from my past, and we all like to think we grow from past mistakes and everything, but it's really hard to admit that you're still making some mistakes. Yeah. And they're not as overt, they're not as out there in the open and stuff like that.
No. They can be, but that doesn't necessarily mean they are, I would say.
Right, but if you don't kind of openly admit that there's still flaws in the way that you do things and the verbiage you use, just like how in a previous podcast we did, I said the word Native American.
Right.
You know,
instead of indigenous
person,
or you can saying America instead of the U.S.
Right. Exactly. Like those little things. Like it's a lot of trouble for people to admit. Like, okay, I'm still doing this. It's still wrong. Yeah. But if you don't admit that it's wrong, you won't grow from that. And I feel like the more I correct myself on that terminology, and the more I correct myself on it and call myself out on it as well as others, the more I can kind of grow from that, and eventually. And hopefully I'll get to the point where I use the correct terminology, I use the correct words, I do the correct things.
And you do that without, like, really...
thinking about
it. It just comes as, like, that just is who you are at that point. Instead of, like, oh, shoot, I said that, I meant to say this.
And that's self-improvement, and that's important, but I actually... So I want to bring this up. I had a conversation with a really close friend of mine, actually just last night.
Was it Matt?
Yeah, it was Matt.
Oh my
Shout
God,
out to you, Matt. I love you,
Watson.
Matt. Not quite. But one thing we kind of talked about was how like there's this kind of notion for ourselves to like prove ourselves individually. You know what I mean? So we want to be good people, and
generally,
we want to do good things, and we individually we want these things for ourselves. And I don't want to say it's selfish to feel that way because it's completely normal. But it can be problematic if you're not thinking about the bigger picture. So one thing we talked about was the kind of like system of racism that's in place. And that's the conversation that a lot of people are having. And it's really important to have that conversation.
It's still really relevant. I think it always will be relevant.
I think the important thing to talk about is like the comfortability of myself talking around race is not nearly as important as looking at the entire picture.
Right.
So... my familiarity, my comfort around it, and my ability to discuss race, it's important to be aware of those kind of things and be cognizant. But it's not nearly as important as looking at the bigger picture. You know, so when I'm talking about racial problems in the United States with my peers and stuff, it's more important that I'm doing that, not out of this defense of myself and my own self-worth, but more that I'm doing it so I can truly look at the big picture and say, this is problematic, we need to solve this.
Right. That's deep.
You know, for the betterment of people in general.
Right.
And that's something I've been doing a lot of work with, is like looking at kind of the actions I've been doing and thinking about A, why I do them, and B, how, you know, the reasoning behind why I do them doesn't matter as much as the kind of outcome of what I'm doing.
So you're saying... If I can boil this down a little bit,
go ahead.
Don't let your comfortability get in the way of talking about it.
Kind of, yes.
So if it makes you uncomfortable, kind of like, okay, why does that make you uncomfortable, but also address the actual problem at hand.
Right. It doesn't matter if you're comfortable or not, I guess. I am a white person.
Right.
It doesn't matter if I am comfortable or uncomfortable. What matters is what I'm doing. Is that having implications on the bigger picture of racism?
Right.
For instance, and that goes across more lines than race. That's the gender line, that's the poverty line, and across all those different facets of sociological problems. It's important to sacrifice your own individual kind of self in order to focus on the bigger picture. So, if I'm doing nonprofit work with a charity or something like that, I don't want to be doing that because I want to feel good about myself. I want to be doing that because the outcome of that is going to better someone else.
Yeah. It's not performative.
Exactly.
It's doing it because it's solving or addressing a real thing, or it's the right thing to do.
Yeah, and that's a really hard thing for people to do, and I don't blame anyone who operates under that mind frame. And in the end, as long as what you're doing is beneficial for other people,
the betterment of people,
then you're doing something. But I think it's also important to kind of sacrifice your individuality in that sense. Because we're
have more of a collective.
Because we're
a collective approach about it.
Because we are very individualistic in this country.
In the States,
I mean, you look at
literally any other country.
Well, think about COVID.
Yeah.
COVID-19. We are still facing a pandemic at its full front.
Yeah. Are we in the second wave? I don't think we're going to be second wave until August or something.
But I think we're going to be getting there.
We're pretty much
You're
there.
seeing spikes come back around.
And
but the reason for that is because we couldn't collectively as a country say, okay, let's socially distance. And by socially distance, I really mean physical distancing. Let's wear masks. Let's take the test. All these little quote unquote liberties we think we have, we weren't able to sacrifice that.
No.
Whereas in other countries, like you look at the Netherlands and Germany and those countries,
South Korea.
Those countries that have seen a sharp decline, they were able to self-isolate and able to sacrifice those
really
things.
A really great country that handled this was Taiwan, actually.
Really, yeah.
They have 0 cases now. They have 0 deaths from COVID.
Was that the country I saw that sent out 2-week care packages, basically?
I don't know. I didn't see that.
I
know that I saw on Twitter that if someone was traveling to Taiwan and it was kind of during the beginning, but they were still reacting to it. But everything was pretty much tracked through the government or the CDC of Taiwan.
Yeah.
So that they can just take all the precautions they can, and so Taiwan is normal now. Same with New Zealand, pretty much. They're just normal. They're just functioning as they would have otherwise.
Yeah, it's just crazy to me because I saw a figure the other day. Oh
boy.
That talked. Yeah, I'm bringing this up. I saw a figure the other day that showed that combating the coronavirus in the next coming year could cost around $22 billion.
Yeah. And that was 3% of the Pentagon's budget.
3% of the Pentagon budget. And the other thing is, this man, some of you may know him, know the name Jeff Bezos.
Yes. Sorry, go ahead.
His net worth is over $180 billion.
Yeah.
So him alone, by sacrificing not even, the tiniest percentage of his wealth.
Right.
He would be able...
He could stop a pandemic.
Just like that.
Just like that.
But because
it's not profitable.
Exactly, because we're so individualistic, because we are so set on this this meritocracy we live in, where we think people earn what they get.
Right.
Doggos. I love doggos.
Yeah. Sorry, there's a bunch of dogs barking, and then
there it is. Hey! Bill. No, it's Bob the Builder, Travis, not Bill the.
Bill the Bobber.
Bill the Bob.
I don't know.
Bill the Bobber.
Yeah.
Bobbed a bunch of bobbies. I wasn't never good at school.
Staring off into space. Yeah, no.
But yeah, so you look at someone like Jeff Bezos who could single-handedly fund a pandemic response. And because we live in this meritocracy where individualism is valued and collectivism is basically a falsehood, we let people like that get away with immense values of wealth, and we don't question it.
There's not a maximum wage people can have.
No, we say, Jeff Bezos, you earned that $180 billion by exploiting thousands of workers and giving them the most menial wages and work conditions that you could.
he earned 17 billion in like a day.
A day.
And that alone, so 2 days, he could just solve an entire pandemic in 2 days with his money.
And
he would still be earning billions every day still.
That's the
like,
thing.
That's insane.
I wrote in a Facebook comment.
How is that not a dystopia?
It is,
like,
quite honestly.
Yeah,
but I wrote in a
seriously.
Facebook comment, and I stand by this statement. Billionaires should not exist.
Oh, there's no reason.
Because, I mean, quite frankly, if you had $1 million,
You'd be pretty good. You'd buy a really nice house.
Pretty fine off, and you'd be okay. But we live in this world of luxury and exorbitance, and we as consumers, we feed into that when you're watching TV shows and you're watching movies and you're living, these people with like great lifestyles and stuff like that. Because we think someday, and we lie to ourselves when we say this, quite honestly, someday we'll be able to make it there.
Right.
And you look at the percentage of people that make it there and the percentage of people that don't, and you're not going to be surprised to find out that most people aren't able to do that.
No.
This narrative of pulling themselves up by their bootstraps and like getting out there and just being determined and you'll make it.
It's like a falsehood that corporations tell you or something.
It's a lie. It's a down out lie.
Pretty much, I feel like you get rich by being lucky or by benefiting off of other people.
Well, that's all wealth is. It's exploitation. I mean, I don't know if you've ever read Das Kapital by Karl Marx.
No.
And it's a long ass book.
Is it like War and Peace long?
Yeah, dude. It's like thousands of pages. But essentially, that's what it is. It's exploitations of workers in order to benefit a select few amount of people. And the hard thing about this is like this kind of system has been in place for hundreds of years in the United States. Like you look back, it dates back all the way to like Adam Smith's Wealth of Nations, which is it's really old to say the least. And it's just it's hard to think that you can ever kind of overcome something like that that's been around for so long, and it's hard because it's the same kind of cycle in different tongues, like in different ways.
Yeah, it really is.
So that's my wealth
Your
rant.
2 cents.
My 2 cents.
Because
that's what's on my mind. Screw Jeff Bezos. Screw Mark Zuckerberg. Screw Bill Gates. Okay.
Elon Musk.
Like seriously, like
I feel like Bill Gates. I said Gates. I feel like he at least does a little bit with his wealth.
But that's a problem.
But it's not a majority.
That's a problem.
It's a personal choice.
Because that's what they do. Jeff Bezos during the Australian wildfires donated millions of dollars to charity. But that is such a small percentage of his fortune that people see that millions of dollars and they're like, wow, he's doing something. And really he's like still sitting in his yacht. It's the equivalent of you donating like a penny to charity.
It's throwaway money.
Literally, that's what it is.
Surplus.
Which is disgusting that $1 million is throwaway.
It's throwaway money.
Like, can you imagine? Why would you need that? Like, what's
for indulgence? I don't know.
It's so disgusting. It makes me vomit in my mouth.
Does he have family? Like,
he has a wife.
Does he have kids though? Like, does he have people that are gonna like inherit? Yeah. That's the word.
Like collect the funds.
Well, when he passes away, who's gonna get that wealth?
I know. He has 4 children apparently.
Okay, yeah, and they're all rich, so good for them.
Well, and that's the thing; it continues because those 4 people, those 4 kids, who are sweet and innocent, because tabula rasa, blank slate.
Blank slate, assuming.
That's everyone's born with a blank slate. No one's evil or corrupt or good or bad when
the environment you're brought up in.
When they end up going to some of the best schools in the nation, and I should say the best schools in the nation, and when they end up going to a prestigious elite liberal arts college, and when they end up going into business with a fortune already in their hands, they're gonna be able to make money off of that money, no problem.
Even if they fail, they could still
profit, and that's the thing with people like you and I who. We don't have that wealth, and if we started something up and it failed, we'd be screwed right there.
Pretty much.
Then, and we'd be
really
ruined.
Hard to come back from that.
And that's the thing. Like, it's just, people say that everything's equal and that everyone's on the same playing field and everyone's level.
Oh, not at all. Not even close.
It's a lie.
Unless we're in, like, a communist, like, country. Or, like, socialist, I guess. I don't know. So, is that a difference? You said there wasn't really too much of a difference.
So, Karl Marx, the way he views socialism and capitalism is, like, socialism is kind of the stepping stone to communism. Sorry, I said capitalism, but I meant communism.
I remember this conversation.
So it's kind of like it's historic, and it's kind of this cycle in which things work. So you start off at this really prehistoric stage where people are
kind
just
of like tribal, like kind of
exactly tribal,
not even like trading goods.
Yep, exactly. And then you move into like capitalism, and then from capitalism develop socialism, and then after socialism you develop communism, which is like the say all end all, and
like everyone is on complete equal.
But it's hard because when you look historically at
no successful.
Well, no, because communism has never been achieved in all actuality. Like, the Soviet Union has described themselves as communists. China has described themselves as communists. They were really dictatorships.
But they're not.
Authoritarian dictatorships. When you look at Joseph Stalin, he was not a communist. He was like, I'm going to send all y'all off to die because I want you to. Because I want to be in charge of everything. And it's really hard because like there was a really big division. So there were the Mensheviks and the Bolsheviks in Russia specifically at the time, who were fighting for two different ideals. So basically, one was fighting for true communism and saying they wanted to slowly develop into communism.
Right.
So they're going to retain their capitalist structure but pivot to a more socialist method and then go to communism.
Interesting.
And then that was the Mensheviks. And then the Bolsheviks said, no, we need to go to communism right now. And then when the Bolsheviks won during the the Russian Civil War, they did that, except when they said they didn't, they really didn't do it. You look at Lenin's policies and his changes, and like...
Who's?
Vladimir Lenin.
Oh, Lenin.
Okay. He's kind of like the father of the revolution.
John Lennon?
Not quite.
John Lennon was a communist.
But essentially, Vladimir Lenin like really didn't indulge in the ways of Marxism. And it was really difficult because like the Mensheviks were really, really dedicated to Marxists. But Lenin was so worried about the Mensheviks taking over and taking control, because they were still around, that he was very authoritarian in the way that he dealt with things. Not as much as Joseph Stalin, of course. Joseph Stalin is kind of peak, like when we say communism, we think of Joseph Stalin, even though that should be distinct from one another, because Joseph Stalin was a dictator.
Right. This turned into a history lesson.
Yeah, sorry. I like history. I'm a nerd.
You do.
But yeah, so when we talk about communism, we've never really seen communism, in my opinion.
Not achieved.
We've never gotten to that point. And, do I think we ever will get there? Probably not, quite honestly.
Probably not.
But I think socialism's the next best,
That's pretty good.
I mean, we'll get to that point, I think, eventually.
There are countries that are already socialist.
Well, and we've actually had times in our history where we were pretty close. During the Progressive era.
Must be nice.
Yeah, during the Progressive era in the late 1800s, early 1900s.
1800s?
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
Okay.
But yeah, a lot of progressives came out and said, like, this is fucked up, because it's like today, where a lot of really rich people controlled a lot of wealth, and then you had a bunch of people who were like dying and starving. And the thing is, it wasn't as extreme back then. Sorry, it isn't extreme today as it was back then. I want to cut you off,
but I do apologize. There's a helicopter in the background somewhere.
Oh, hello.
So, I think they heard you.
I believe so.
So it'll probably pick up on the mic.
Should we just wait?
Nah.
You guys hear helicopter.
It's not that loud.
No, okay.
It's fine away.
But yeah, so it wasn't as extreme today as it was back then. So you don't have people starving and dying. I mean, you still do have that, but it's not as extreme as it was back then.
No.
And people weren't as impassioned. I feel like today we have a lot more distractions from that too.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, everybody has a phone pretty much.
A phone, reality TV, like all these little things, all these little devices that just distract people from the reality that they're living in. I'm going really deep this episode. I'm going down the rabbit hole, and I apologize. But yeah, there was a time in history where progressives were like super close to taking over.
Yeah.
But then the party inevitably died out because, the Republican and Democratic parties were very dominant, and kind of like today, an independent running was just unheard of, and they didn't really gain. They gained a lot of steam, actually, I should say.
Yeah, that's cool.
Eugene Debs was a socialist nominee for the presidency. And fun fact about Eugene Debs, he actually ran for president while he was in jail.
What?
And he did? Yeah, and he got a really large portion of the votes. Like, I don't know the percentages, but I think it was enough to put a dent in a lot of the the other candidates.
Interesting.
But yeah, he ran a campaign from jail.
That's
which is super cool, super hardcore, man. But I think eventually we'll get to that point again. I don't think it'll be in the same way.
Yeah, we'll have presidents running from jail.
Bernie Sanders, why weren't you in jail?
Right.
But yeah, okay. So that's my history lesson and my tangent. I'm sorry.
It's good.
So
good to learn.
Good to learn. You guys learn something new every day. Coffee.
Started with coffee. We always rotate back to like systemic issues and then history and then.
I think it's so funny because it's
back to goofy.
There's like two halves of this podcast that I've seen so far.
It usually is. Yeah.
Just like some chill, mellow topic that we're talking about, and then override the system.
Yeah.
Like take over. Like be impassioned.
Systemic issues.
Exactly.
Communism.
Everyone's gonna call me a commie after this. I'm not a communist, guys. Don't worry.
I don't think anyone does that seriously.
It's so stupid. Like nowadays, you have people that are so far right or far left.
Yeah.
And that's
extremists.
Oh my god, I hate it because it's like you'll be like
you're missing the point.
You'll be like Black Lives Matter or like people should be treated fairly, and then some old white dude will be like, "You communist! I fought this country to fight you." And
oh my god.
That was a really bad old man
really
voice.
Loud.
I'm sorry, I just peeked the mic.
Maybe.
But yeah, so and then on the other end, it's like someone says something problematic and they're automatically labeled a racist, which I think is also problematic because, although they may play into the systems of racism that are apparent, some people are just ignorant and don't know how to talk about race or know how to talk about those subjects. And I always come from a viewpoint of like educating.
Right.
So if you said something problematic or, like if you said Indian, okay, and you had never really
give it another thought of why that would be bad.
Exactly. I take that as an opportunity to teach you something instead of just automatically coming out and saying you're a terrible person.
That also goes both ways though, because you have to be open to learning to learn, obviously.
Well, exactly.
So you can't force somebody to learn. You can give them the tools, or you can confront them on it or something, but...
Right, and at the end of the day, there are some people that just won't learn.
Yeah, they're just stuck in their ways, and, they've always been unaffected, so why should they care? You know?
But with those people, I just think, what did I do? Like, my job was to try to inform them and educate them.
Because that's a stepping stone if they choose to use it later on. It's
exactly.
Like, well...
It could be
Travis told me that I should say indigenous people instead because it's not bad. I don't know. It's not racist to use, I guess. Is what the word would be. It just doesn't. It's like that's the proper term. It's indigenous.
And at the end of the day, if like the indigenous population comes out and says no, we want to be called this, then you're gonna respect that and go with it.
You have to respect it. Yeah.
That's the thing with me is like I've always been like whatever terms that population say I should use.
That's what you should use.
That's what I'm going to use because they're
telling you.
Because they're the agents. They're the ones who are being directly affected by it. So it's not up to me to tell someone someone in that population how to use language. Right. It's like rap music, how they swear and they use like really like
just profanity.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But dicey language that like people like me and you could never use because we don't have the agency to use that. But I'm also not going to say, well, you shouldn't say that in your songs because that's wrong and that's that's racist and no, because that's not how it works. They have their own agency. Exactly. So
Travis, you can't have 2 creams in your coffee anymore.
I actually only got 1 cream in my coffee.
Yeah, because I'm right.
Wait,
you can't have 2 creams. I said you can't have 2 creams in your coffee anymore. I have 1 cream. I was like, yeah, I know, it's right.
Doesn't it look disgusting?
It does now. It looks orange. Like mine's pretty bright.
Yours is beautiful.
Yeah, that's probably because they put.
You're beautiful.
Thank you.
Ba-dum-bum.
This is Travis P.
Yeah, that's my name, Travis P.
Travis T. TPTTV.
TPT.
Next to TTV TP Thug.
TPTTP.
And then TYTTV TP Thug.
TYLL. Wait, no.
TY.
Talk TTYL. That's what. God.
Talk to you later, loser.
Dang it, man. Yikes.
TTYLL. Talk to you later, loser.
L on the forehead.
There you go. 2006.
Oh my god, that was a time.
We're kids.
Man. You know what? We graduated high school in 2017, and I was just thinking about that the other day.
3 years ago?
Yeah, pretty much. But it feels like so long ago.
It does. I usually forget. I have to think about like when I graduated. I was like, what was it?
What was I doing?
Oh, it was 2017, right?
Yeah. It's weird, man.
It is. It's winding down now. Podcast is winding down now.
We're getting to that phase.
the history buff, and now we're
lowering the volume and the energy and the everything.
Did you use your chocolate crystals today? Yeah? Are you drunk now?
No.
You've had 3 meetings?
3 meetings today and a bunch of emails.
Oof.
It's so draining to be in front of a computer all day. Like, I know people, like...
See, I'm the opposite. I would like to be... If I had to work, I'd rather be on, like, at a desk than walking around all day.
I don't mind it. It just tires me out, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
because you have to be, like, constantly paying attention
to
it.
Exactly. And
it's not really, like...
Being in front of a screen all day just tires me out.
Yeah.
Even if I play video games or watch YouTube or something like that.
Yeah. Video games tire me out if that's, like, all I've done that day. Like, I have to be, like, some kind of physical activity.
Yeah.
Even if it's just, like, going shopping and walking around shopping.
Yeah.
But, like...
Yeah, it's just something to walk around.
Because gaming, at least high octane gaming, uses a lot of adrenaline in your brain. It does, yeah. And so your adrenaline is, like, spiked for a long time, and then you're like, why am I so tired? I didn't do anything today. It's like, no, you've been, like... Your brain's been, like, very stimulated for, like, 8 hours. That's why you're tired.
When you're playing Minecraft and your brain's like, adrenaline rush!
Adrenaline when a creeper comes at you.
That is true.
You fall in a ravine.
Dude, I'm not kidding. Like, Minecraft is scary.
It's really scary when it gives you, like, the scary cave music when it's dark, and it's like...
It's a kid's game! It's like for 12-year-olds, and you're playing, and all of a sudden you got this creepy-ass music, and Music.
I
can't talk.
I used to turn my Minecraft volume off, but my music off. Just because it was kind of annoying sometimes, but also because it's like, I don't want to be scared when I'm playing Minecraft.
See, the thing I hate is when I'm
play a horror game
when I'm mining in a cave and like all of a sudden a creeper comes around the corner, it's super dark or something, and I'm just like, I don't like this. I'm gonna turns it to peaceful.
Yeah.
Calls it good.
I used to like, you know how way back in like middle school and you're playing Minecraft with the bros. And they're like, you know, like they're strip mining, and they're like, and they're like, whoa, I just heard like the scary music. It's like, bro, Hero Brian's right behind you. He's like, shut up, man, don't say that. Turn around.
Back in the day.
Hero Brian. I do remember being genuinely scared of Hero Brian. If I went mining, I was like, in the scary music came on. Yeah. I was like, all right, this is where I die. I was always just like the old man, like, guess I'll die.
Yeah, guess I'll die. Yeah. Yeah, you know, I think I'm good for this podcast. I think I've said everything on my mind.
Got it all out of your Marxism.
I had a lot in my system.
It's okay. It was only like a 10-minute segment for that.
I'm glad. I'm sorry if I bored a lot of you, and if you turn it off and dislike it, and like I'm gonna cry.
We haven't gotten a dislike yet.
Don't
videos.
Change that.
Keep it up.
I feel like my friend Buddha's gonna dislike it just to be the first.
Just to spite us.
Just like meh.
He's a Minecraft villager. That's what it is.
That was really good.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Well, you don't want to hear this for 10 minutes. So, outro.
Oh my.
That was entertaining.
That was. I don't. Caught me off guard. Okay. It's you. Wait, no, it's me.
That's you.
It's you. I do the outro. I do the outro.
You always do the outro.
Well, it's your turn now. Tough.
As always, thanks for watching. Be sure to let us know what's on your mind. I'm Travis.
I'm Jesse.
We love you.
Okay.
Goodbye.
We'll see you next time. Please keep watching us. This isn't a bad outro.
Yay.